Lesson is over how to divide fractions. Let's look at our do now. Laura has 30 cupcakes. How many pieces will she have if she divides them into fourths? So she has 30 cupcakes. She wants to divide them into fourths. So here's a cupcake. She wants to cut it up into fourths. I could draw 30 cupcakes and divide them into four, but there must be a faster way. So it's asking how many fourths are there in 30? Can I turn this division expression to a multiplication expression? I think I can. So here's a 30. Turn this to a multiplication, and then you do the reciprocal of the second number. So I do the reciprocal. Some of you last year, because some of you keep saying to me, oh yeah, I learned something called keep, change, flip. So like for subtraction, 8 minus -3. You can turn a subtraction expression to an addition expression. Some of you all use keep, change, flip. So you keep it, change it, flip -3 to 3, and you get 11. And it works with turning a division into a multiplication expression. Keep this, change it, flip this, and what's 30 groups of 4 over 1? 30 groups of 4 is 120. If you want to set the whole number 30 into an improper fraction of 30 over 1, multiply across, you get 120 over 1, or 120. So what do you know about fraction towers? Well, fraction tower, they're equivalent. They all equal to one whole. You have 12ths, 10ths, 8ths, 6ths, 5ths, 4ths, thirds, and halves. So what we're going to do is answer this question. You have 4/5. Where's 4/5? 1, 2, 4/5. I would like you to divide this into two groups. So what do you get? 2/5. How do you draw this? I have 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5. I divide it into two groups, divide it into two parts, I get 2/5. Next one, I have 9/10. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10. They want you to divide it into three parts. And here I get. So I get 3/10. If I had to draw it, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1/10. I divide it into three parts. It's 3/10 in each part. Next one, I have 2/5. I need to divide it into four parts. Before you say, but I can't. I only have two parts here. Can you rename 1/5? What else could you rename 1/5? How about 4/10? So I'm going to rename 2/5 as 4/10. Now I divide it into four parts, and it'll be 1/10. So I have 2/5, 1/5, 1/5. I need to divide it. So now I have four parts here. Each part of this will be 1/10. Next one, you have 2/3. 1/3, 2/3. They want you to divide it into four parts. But there's only two parts here. Can I rename 2/3? How about, I'm going to rename it as from 2/3 to 4/6. Divide it into four parts. 1/6 is the answer. Next one, I have 1/2. I want to know how many fourths. How many groups of fourths, how many fourths go into 1/2? I see one group of a fourth. I see a second group, so it is 2. So it's funny how when you start with, you have something here, and you're dividing by a whole number, something that's more than 1, the answer is always a fractional part. And then, when you're dividing by a fraction less than 1, the answer is more. Why is that so? Because you're asking how many parts go into this bigger one. So let's try the next one. You have 1/3. They want to know how many 12ths go into 1/3. I say 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12. How many groups of 1/12 go into 1/3? 4 groups. Next one. I have 3/5. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. And I have 1/10. They want to know how many, I would divide it into tenths. How many tenths go into 3/5? How many groups of 1/10 go in there? 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. 6/10, as you can tell. So how many groups of tenths? 6 groups of it. And last but not least, you have a half. How many eighths do you think will go in here? Can I rename what half? I see 4 groups of 8, so it's 4. And I have 8 tenths. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, and 8/10, and I have 2/5. How many groups of 2/5 will go there? That's one group of 2/5. Here's the second group of 2/5. So it's 2 is the answer. Now that all Danny that, do you really want to sit at home and create fraction towers to this? Or is there another way to come up with all of these answers? Or the answer. In order to do so, you have to know what the word reciprocal is. Reciprocal is when you have multiplied any two numbers and you get a product of 1 equals 1. Another way to describe reciprocal is when you have the numerator and denominator and you switch them. You flip them. So 1/5. What is the reciprocal of 1/5? 5, 1, or 5. Because 1/5 times by 1 is 1 whole. What's the reciprocal of 3/4? 4/3. To check your work, if you multiply 3/4 by 4/3, you get 1 whole. What's the reciprocal of 7/8? 8/7. What's the reciprocal of 9? If you have 9, you're flipping it, be 1/9. What's the reciprocal of 12? You have 12, you flip it, be 1/12. And what's the reciprocal of 10? It'd be 1/10. What's the reciprocal of 7 and 1/3? Well, first of all, is this an improper fraction? So another way to rewrite 7 1/3 is 22/3. The reciprocal is 3/22. And what's the reciprocal of 6 and 2/5? It is 32/5 or 5/32. To check your work, if you multiply the reciprocal by with the starting number, it will equal 1 whole. So taking that, we are going to be practicing turning a division expression into a multiplication expression. You have half of a pizza, and you want to share it equally between two people. So here's just half of a pizza. I want to share it equally among 2 people. So look like each person gets a fourth. How much of the pizza will each person get? I think it's 1/4. So I have half. I'm going to divide it among 2 people. Is there another way to rewrite this as an equivalent multiplication expression? So it's 1/2. So you want to divide it into 2. Is there another way to say divided by 2? Half of something. Half of something is the same thing as saying divide by 2. So how can I get half? So what you do, you start with half of pizza, then you're multiplying 2. You do the reciprocal of 2. So reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. So you're doing what's half of a pizza. So here's half of a pizza. Half of a pizza is 1/4. Some of you use something called keep, change, flip. I don't really use that. I just know to turn a division expression to a multiplication expression, you do the reciprocal of the second one and multiply. But if you like keep, flip, change, you keep this, you change this to a multiplication, and you flip the 2 to 1/2. Same like the subtraction to addition of integers. Next one, a baker is making cakes for a big party. She uses 1/4 cup of oil for each cake. How many cakes can she make if she has a big bottle that has 6 cups? So she has 6 cups. She uses 1/4 for each cake. So how many is? I think it's going to be 24. So she has 6 cups. She wants to know how many fourths are there in 6. From what I think it's going to be 24 through my picture model. But you know what? I want to know how to rewrite it as an equivalent multiplication expression. So I have 6. Is there another way? It's 4. So I change the division to a multiplication. I do the reciprocal 1/4 to 4/1. 6 groups of 4/1 is 24/1 or 24. Next one. The serving size for the granola that Ted likes to eat for breakfast is 3/4 a cup. How many servings are there in a box that holds 13 cups? So you have 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And each time he eats it, he gets 3/4 right there. How many 3/4 are in there? So 13 divided by 3/4. I'd like to know how many 3/4 cups are there in 13. I need to turn it to an equivalent multiplication expression. It'd be 13 times. I do the reciprocal of 3/4 or 4/3. For those who like to keep change flip, you keep the first number. You change it from a division to a multiplication. You flip 3/4 to 4/3. And if you multiply this, you get 52/3, which is the same thing as saying 17 1/3 is the remainder. Next one. A baker has half a pound of sugar left. He needs 1/8 of a pound for each batch of cookie he makes. How many batches of cookie can he make with 1/2? So he has 1/2. He needs, if he has an 1/8, how many eighths are there in a half? I predict 4. So let's see. He has half of a pound. He needs to figure out how many eighths go into half. If I want to write it as a multiplication expression, let's start with 1/2. I multiply it, and I do the reciprocal 1/8 to 8/1. If you multiply it across, you get 8 halves, which is 4. So in your words, how do you divide fractions? Number 1, I keep first fraction. Number 2, I change division to multiplication. And number 3, I reciprocal the second fraction. And then I multiply across. Sometimes you will have to simplify. So does this work all the time? Well, let's see. Let's see if this works all the time. So what's half? You have half. Let's do something easier. Let's do 2. You have 2 pies. You want to know how many fourths are there into 2 pies. So keep the first fraction or change the division to a multiplication and do reciprocal the second one, 4/1. 2 times 4/1 is 8/1 or 8. Let's see if that's correct. Here's 2 pizza. How many fourths are there in it? 8 fourths. So 8 groups of fourths. So it is true. So that's how you divide fraction. Some of y'all from Patterson use keep, change, flip. You keep the first number, you change, and you flip it. It also works for turning a subtraction to an addition expression.